I'd like to welcome you to the Uptown Theater. Welcome to the Community Foundation's annual meeting and 25th anniversary preview. My name is Karen Simmons, and I'm President and CEO of the Community Foundation. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, we hope that you had a chance before you came into the theater to stop in our lounge for a drink, and if you didn't, you'll get another chance afterwards. Afterwards, we're having receptions downstairs as well as upstairs, so you get to wander through the whole theater and see what the Uptown is all about. There are a variety of performances, classes, lectures. TED Talks are my special favorite. So welcome to the Uptown. Thank you for all people who have helped to bring the Uptown to downtown, and we are pleased to be here from behalf of the Community Foundation. Now I'd like to introduce you to the chair of the board of the Community Foundation, Toni Morris. He's going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. Toni.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks to all of you for being here today. Truly appreciate it. It's only been 4 months since we were at the Gaylor Winery, and Bob Rigg handed the gavel over to me. So as Peter Temple says, I'm the newbie. So I hope I filled the chairs well this afternoon, but thanks so much for coming. Your presence here today signifies that you care about making sure this community is healthy, strong, nurturing, and inspiring now and forever. And we thank you for that. It truly makes a difference. Our mission at the Community Foundation is straightforward. We connect people who care with causes that matter, so their philanthropy makes a difference now and forever. I told Karen I have a little take on that. I've met a lot of you, and I know a lot of the organizations that you support. And my take on it is we connect great people who care a lot with important causes that really make a difference in this community. It's my honor to serve as chair of this excellent institution. As I said, I want to thank our board, our emeritus board, our committee members, and a great staff. Also, thanks to our Jordan Award winners. They're sitting up here, and we appreciate having them here. You'll be hearing a little more about our Door Opener Award winners, and they're on the stage too, and I appreciate their being here. So many people give their time and talent to this organization, as you all know already, but I think it's the epitome of the phrase that rarely has so much been accomplished by so few, and we thank you all for it. Many of the financial professionals who are involved in the Foundation's nearly $60 million in entrusted charitable assets are here today. Our audit team, led by Kathy Willichek, is here. Kathy, are you out there? Our stockbroker, Jack Karakelian from Merrill Lynch. I think he's here somewhere in the audience. We're also joined by numerous bankers who manage our short-term monies, and each of them consistently receives green 3-star rankings from Veribank, our bank rating services. Our chief investment officers from Hurdle Callahan are here. Chris Valerio and Phil Cook. If you're out there, wave. Chris and Phil. With our investment committee, which works very hard, Hurdle Callahan formulates our asset allocation policies, invests the majority of our endowed funds, and analyzes the returns from all of our investment partners. And speaking of investment partners, we have our Medallion investment partners here today. Our Medallion partners meet stringent due diligence criteria, which is very important to us, and we invest separately managed accounts at these fine institutions. Thanks to each and every one for your vigilant attention to and stewardship of our finances and investments. Once again, thanks to all of you, and we couldn't do it without you and all of you, and we appreciate it. Your participation demonstrates how much a healthy, vibrant community means to each of you personally. It certainly does. And now I'd like to turn the program over back to Karen, actually, for a couple minutes, and she'll talk to you about how we fulfill our mission day to day. But equally, maybe not quite, but almost as important, we're on the cusp of our 25th anniversary, and we're hoping you'll all participate. You'll hear more about that later, but she'll give you some of the highlights as we get ready to celebrate 25 years of philanthropy here in Chester County. Karen?
So you can see why our board and our staff and our volunteers are so dedicated to our mission. We have the privilege of helping generous people make great grants to good causes throughout the United States. And many of you know our small but mighty staff. Beth Harper-Brillia, our VP for Philanthropy, is here. Bob Ferguson, who controls everything. Steph Stevens, who reaches out to the community to engage people. Beth Kralis, this is Beth's first big event. She's our new marketing communications officer. She's good. You all right, Beth? You made it? Yes! Any complaints? Call Beth. Beth K, not Beth HB. And Kevin Baffa, Kevin, who keeps us all organized, our administrator and our scholarship coordinator. So this is our small but mighty staff. And we are supplemented by a small army of interns from Westchester University who also have friends with the Abbeys and the Friars. So thank you very much. And I'll shout out to Bryce, because that's your photo, right, Bryce? He didn't make the end report, but he made the pictures on stage, okay? So your mama will be happy, Bryce. So we also benefit greatly from the involvement of our volunteers who serve on committees, and thank you for the nonprofit training you've all recently provided at our Trustee Institute and throughout the year, and help with our events. And as you can see, some volunteer jobs are sweeter than others. Plug, 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 plug. Who's going to be the cupcake this year? Yeah. So this year, the Community Foundation paid out $2.5 million. I get $2.4 million, almost 2.5, in grants and scholarships. Since we started 25 years ago in 1994, we've granted nearly $40 million. $40 million to causes people care about. Now, the people who start funds with us live, work, and play in Chester County, and you can make grants any place throughout the United States, as long as it's legal. That's what our controller says. So because of each of you, the world is a better place for people to live in, work, and enjoy. Now, to strengthen philanthropy, the Community Foundation provides services to families and individuals. We like to work with your kids and your grandkids to help them learn more about the community and make smart grants, or you individually. And we also provide services to nonprofit organizations to help them grow their legacy funds, their endowment funds, their major gifts. So those are the two core things that we do. So whether you come to the Community Foundation to give now, to give later, or to give both now and later, you can establish your own fund. You can give to somebody else's fund if you would like, or you can give to our unrestricted fund for Chester County so our mini grants committees can make those decisions. Lots of options. So over this past year, 35 new funds were created at the Community Foundation. That brings just our total to 375 little foundations under our umbrella. Now, the majority of these are endowed, and they're donor-advised family funds so that they can make grants to issues they care about throughout the country. We also have field of interest funds that focus on a specific geographic region, like maybe Coatesville or Phoenixville or Southern Chester County, or a cause, arts and culture, environment, things like that. We also have nonprofit endowment funds. As I said before, 80 nonprofit organizations hold their endowments with us, and we would like to help make them grow and grow forever. And of course, scholarship funds, so that you can help with the cost of education. You create these funds, and you determine where the monies will go. So we at the Community Foundation are quite honored to be a conduit for your philanthropy. Now, as Toni said, it's been 25 years since we were started in 1994. And Bob, I'm going to plug Bob Rigg, he said, "That's a milestone so big, that celebration should last all year." Thanks, Mr. Outgoing Chair. You're right. So we put together a committee, of course, but it's a really fun one. Now, in your annual report, you'll see our timeline. A little tough to read up here, but it's on page of your annual report. So it is my sincere hope that after 25 years, we at the Community Foundation have made our founders proud. Now, some of you here, how many of you remember our first days in 1994 when Henry Jordan started to talk to his good friends, Betty Moran and Carol Ware, about how to strengthen regional philanthropy? And then Skip Houston and Lou Beccaria chimed in and offered us Terracina in Coatesville so we could have an office in the attic. I was a little tall. I wasn't here then. Thank goodness Mike Rawl was a little shorter than I was. And I do hear that John A. Featherman III, Esquire, did a handy-dandy bit of legal work to make sure that we were all legally lined up. So that's what was happening in 1994 in Westchester when the Community Foundation was started. And you'll see on this timeline, it's kind of our wall of fame. You'll see highlights of our board chairs through the years with things and initiatives they accomplished. And then the assets held in trust. And actually, we're up to almost 60 million today. So even since this was printed a couple weeks ago, things keep growing. And the highlights, such as Aaron Martin starting the very first donor advised fund, or Bob Bugle starting the 5th donor advised fund. So highlights are here on our annual report timeline. Now, our 25th anniversary committee of these fine folks have developed a 3-part year-long celebration plan. The celebration's so big, it'll last all year. We have 3 parts to it: inspiring philanthropy, growing philanthropy, and of course, celebrating philanthropy. So let me tell you a few of the highlights of what's to come so that next year at the meeting we can talk about what happened, all right? So here's what we'd love for you to look out for and join us for. Let's start with Inspire. In the Inspire category, we started out by selecting 25 faces of philanthropy to portray the various aspects of philanthropy from throughout the Community Foundation. So some of you are here tonight. Thank you for letting us feature your faces in our Faces of Philanthropy, our Philanthropy Stories. And you might notice that we specifically excluded some people you might think are here. We did not include our founders, because you saw their picture just before. We didn't include current board members or board chairs. We didn't include our door opener winners or our Jordan Award winners. So many of these people have funds at the foundation, but we knew that we'd be celebrating them in different ways and inspiring. So these are many of the other families who started funds at the foundation, and they live, work, and play throughout Chester County. So I just wanted to give you that insight of it's really the community that's important in the foundation and people from all walks of life. So throughout this coming year, our aim is to inspire by highlighting the philanthropy and the portraits in many ways. So already we've gotten quotes from people and stories of what's going on with the Philanthropy Stories, and you'll see them, of course, on our website and in social media, in news articles, and at our gatherings. And especially we're working with Fig Magazine and Joanne Duraco of County Lines Magazine to do extra special portraits featuring philanthropy over the coming year. So thank you for that. A shout out to those initial partners, and if more folks are interested, thank you. Now here's just one of the samples of a social media message. The Freeze Family Fund. Many of you know, in their younger days, the Freeze family. So here we go. Rob and Lisa had one portrait of philanthropy, and there's a start, and we'll be featuring them. And also the Brewer family from the Clay Murr Family Foundation. Clay is Clayton, Murr is Miranda. So these family photos are taken 10 years apart, and this family ages very well, I'd say. Yeah, and actually they just had the very first grandchild, was born 5 days ago, so growing legacies in many ways. So these are some of the stories, some of the quotes you'll be seeing in social media and in print. And as another way to inspire philanthropy, we actually, if all goes well tonight when we go to our meeting, we hope to have 25 banners featuring our Faces of Philanthropy hanging throughout Westchester Borough. So that's a sample of what we hope will be one of many examples of banners of philanthropy throughout the borough. And TED Talks, my favorites. We also aim to inspire philanthropy through a series of TED Talks. We have lined up TED Talks in the northern part of the county at the Colonial Theater, in the southern part of the county at Longwood Gardens at the Visitor Center Theater, and here in Central, right here at the Uptown. So we're looking at the 39 TED Talks on philanthropy and charity, and we're inviting panelists to have some hearty and heartfelt debates about what's going on in philanthropy throughout the world and in our own backyard. So ideas worth spreading are TED Talks. So those are some of the ways we're trying to inspire philanthropy. Decent? Yeah, good committee. All right, now I got to give the grow part, and then we'll get into the party part. So for the growing philanthropy, it's pretty straightforward. If it has a 25 in it, we want it, okay? So the warm-up is our annual campaign. How many of you got your annual appeal letters last week? Everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We invite you to join our circle of friends. You might have noticed we put a lot more 25s on it. 25, 250, 2,500, 2.5 million, whatever you want to give to our annual campaign. And if you haven't received your letter yet, go back to the mailbox or just go to the online and click. More significantly, since we're about this long-term legacy philanthropy, we have a three-pronged 25, 25 to the third power. How's that for a good committee? For number one, we're looking for 25 new people to start new endowed funds at the Community Foundation. Our minimum is $25,000. We've had a lot more $250,000 funds started and $2.5 million. So it's interesting. We do like 25s these days. If you have a fund with us, now's your chance. We're looking for 25 fund advisors to add increments of 25 to their funds, and we don't mean dollars, we mean bigger. So grow your legacy fund. This is a great year to do it. And we're also looking for 25 more planned gift commitments. So how's that for 25, 25, 25? Let's just grow. Just to let you know. Now, as you know, at the Community Foundation, we focus on long-term, enduring, perpetual legacy philanthropy. And planned gifts are a crucial way for us to really secure a healthy financial future for the nonprofit sector, for the nonprofits whose funds we hold in trust, for family donor advised funds. So we're grateful to everybody who's made some kind of planned giving arrangement that can join our Ben Franklin Planned Giving Legacy Society. And you'll notice in your annual report that the first two columns have names and the last two columns have anonymous. Welcome to Chester County. All right? But the fact is, if you've made a planned giving arrangement and you want to join our Legacy Society, thank you. And remember that where there's a will, there's a way. So help us celebrate our 25th anniversary by telling us you'd like to join the planned giving. And if you need more information on planned giving, on page 47 of your annual report, we list a lot of the advisors, attorneys, accountants, wealth managers, and philanthropy consultants who help us with legacy philanthropy. So that's page 47 of your report. But I have to tell you, this is a good, solid list, and we thank each of you for all you do to help people understand more about legacy philanthropy. But there's an even better list. You might want to speak confidentially with somebody who's won our Door Opener Award, and they're listed on your annual report as well. On page, what's that bottom page, Peter? Can you read that number? Page 11, 10 and 11. Thank you very much. So on page 10 and 11 are the people who have won our Door Opener Award over the years. And the Door Opener Award has been that really nice little doorknob that we just think is just so darn fun for opening doors to philanthropy. But I got to tell you, Toni, you want to see? Yeah, stand up. So this year, we were thinking about giving the Door Opener Award out, but these first 17 Door Opener Awards were fantastic, but we realized we kind of had two folks who stood head and shoulders above the crowd. So we actually sat down and did some math. And when we totaled up the cumulative referrals since we started and in the pipeline, it turned out we had to give two super door openers this year. Stand up and hold them, Toni. Now, this is why, because I have to say that between Peter Temple and Lou Titai, it's $10 million each. Is that super? So tonight we have the Super Door Opener Award. There you go. Now, gentlemen, I would like to ask you to come to the podium to receive these awards, but I also would like to make a pitch. If anybody needs great carpentry, Matthew Roberson and Jim Beam made our Door Opener Awards. So pretty darn good, right? Uh-huh. And actually, if, Andy, if you would also like anybody, elected officials, we have some commendations too, so now is your chance to come on stage, and it's only going to be for a moment. So, Peter and Lou, would you come on over to get your door open awards, and you can say whatever you would like, okay?
But there's also these.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you're going to do this, gentlemen. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get something with the door opener. Okay, so we couldn't help ourselves. All right? Lou and Peter have been graciously volunteered to go around and talk to other CPAs and attorneys and things about opening doors to philanthropy, so we had to have the right attire. We also got ties and socks, all right? So you both get them, but if you don't mind. We'll save those. Would you like to say anything? I would. Okay. We'll save those. It's kind of tough, isn't it?
I'll be brief. You've been subjected to my comments over the years from this podium in the past. I'd just like to say that I've been lucky enough to be on the board since 1996 with 2 years of vacation. And there is no finer group of people that I've ever worked with that are on the current board. We have a door opener, which is a cute gift. I'll be a hero for my 5-year-old grandson, Sam. I can't wait to show him. But you need a structure to have a door to open. And what Karen and Beth and Bob and Stephanie do, and the other members of our group, is without parallel. I know for a fact that whenever I'm lucky enough to be able to encourage someone to talk, Chester County Community Foundation, Karen gets back to them like this, and they're clear and they're cogent and they know what they want, and it's been a delight. I've said this before and it sounds hokey, but it's such an easy sell to say, why don't you talk to Karen or Beth? It just works out so well. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I remember what Bill Gallagher said to me when he took over as the chairman of the board, that this is the finest, best-run organization in Chester County, and I agree with that. I also like to thank our chairman, Toni, and Kathy Dean Bradley and Mike that are coming in to the leadership roles in the future. And I very much appreciate this. It's one of the hallmarks of my time here in Chester County. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Never been one lost for words. It won't take a lot of time, but this is an opportunity. The Community Foundation is really very, very important to me and my family. I'm just thinking about getting emotional, so just bear with me. But, the Door Opener Award is really a great honor, but as Peter said, it really is easy. In our world, in what we do, we advise clients about estate planning. Clients get worried about that term sometime. They don't really say, I have an estate worth worrying about or whatever, but really every person's estate is important. And what I decided to do about 10 or 12 years ago now is, after getting involved with the foundation in a pretty substantial way and chairing the board, I decided to take a twist in terms of how I approach the meeting with the client, the initial meeting when they're talking about their wills. And instead of just starting with, like how many kids do you have and do you have any kids at all or whatever, where do you want your estate to go? I decided to put a spin on it that was a little different because I really felt strongly from my own personal experience that I really felt good about giving. It just feels better when it happens. And so what I do is usually talk to the client first about, not about their family and their demographic as I call it, but I ask them, how do you want to be remembered? Or like, what things are really important to you other than your family? Like what causes? have you engaged in? And it's amazing because almost uniformly, that ends up in a very, very interesting discussion for maybe the first 20 minutes. And it really sets the stage for the family then starting to think about a couple things. One, philanthropy is important to me, my church, my school, my hospital, the Cancer Society, whatever, the homeless shelter. But not only that, but they want to tell their kids about it. And that's what really, I think this door opener is all about, because it's really, as Peter said, very simple to get it started. And once it starts, it's amazing what happens. So I've been really enthused and encouraged by that. I've also been inspired by my own wife. Who's chosen in her retirement to take on causes that are really important to her. I didn't introduce her to this group in Philadelphia that rebuilds houses in very, very difficult neighborhoods, but she does that on her own, and Lord's Pantries, Safe Harbor, and things like that. But I really get inspired by that. And my sons, I'm hoping that Jeff, who is here tonight and is our chef, he and his twin brother Ryan will take that very, very seriously as they move on, because we've created just a small little acorn fund here. But they know how important that charity is to us. So my message tonight is first of all, thank you to Toni and to Karen and to the board for recognizing us. There's so many people that could get this recognition. I want to thank people like John Featherman and Bill Gallagher, my partners. Who taught me early on that philanthropy and community service is really a part of the practice of law that's critical. And we try to instill that in all of our people at McElry. So I just am really, really just amazed that this happened. I'll close with what I use this quote from St. Francis a lot, so forgive me for drawing on one of my saints. But when you leave this earth, you cannot take with you anything you received, only what you've given. Thanks. Thank you.
Did you want to say just a couple words, both of you? Come on over.
I
Just a
promise there'll only
couple.
be a couple. Which, yeah, no. There is the story of the person who saw poverty around them and hunger and homelessness, and in anger said, "God, why don't you do something about this?" And God responded, I created you. So ultimately, each of us has the power, each of us is granted certain gifts to change and make a better world. And I'm happy to present this citation from the Senate of Pennsylvania to Peter and Lou, who have heard God's voice that He created them. And they've gone out to make Chester County a better world, and have followed in the tradition of our Quaker founders. And it's my pleasure and honor to present them on behalf of the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania this citation. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. If there's one thing I've learned in my relatively brief tenure as mayor of Westchester, it is that the only way to build and retain a strong, vibrant community is to give of ourselves, to give of our time, to give of our money, but most importantly, to give of our expertise. And this is a prime example of two gentlemen who have done so through so many years and done such wonderful work in this community to ensure sustained charitable giving. So it is my honor as mayor of Westchester and as representative of this fine community to present these two citations to both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anything else to say? All right, we'll let you sit down, and then we promise we'll give you the Superman regalia and the door opener awards at the end of the evening, right? You want your shirt now? Thanks, Beth. Good shirts. Nice, nice. Thank you for everything. Some well-deserved awards. All right, so I said 3 parts, right? So inspire was the first. Grow is the second. Whoa, that's our grow. How about we go forward? No, yes, that was. This is what happens when you get excited on stage. Gorgeous door openers, gorgeous door openings. All right, celebrate. The fun part, right? So one of the many ways we are celebrating is by giving gifts. So that's the fun part. Because our anniversary officially begins on January 1st, 2019, we were considering having a New Year's Eve party, but we're a community partner. Why reinvent the wheel? So just to let you know, as the Uptown has one of the best New Year's Eve parties around, we have decided to sponsor the Uptowns at the $2,500 level. So our New Year's Eve party will be right here. But just to let you know, in case we have some generous donors who want to bump it up to the $25,000 level, we could then celebrate it on stage with marquee banners and tables and all that. So there are a few folks who have decided that 2,500 is nice because it has 25, but 25,000 would be better. So in case you're listening over there, the $25,000 level is what we're trying to do. So that's one way we're trying to celebrate the first day of our 25th anniversary. All right? Another way is a lot of fun too. It came via our Jordan Award winners. Let me explain. Now, as you know, the Jordan Award Endowed Fund was created to honor our founder, Henry Jordan, Dr. Henry Elva Jordan, actually, and his wife, Barbara McNeil Jordan. And this year, our Jordan Award honorees agreed that rather than picking another honoree, they would rather pool their donations and select their favorite nonprofits to highlight. Gifts to the community, community gems. So when I was gone one weekend, Bob McNeil sent out an email, and he asked the Jordan Award winners to ante up, and y'all did before I got back. So between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you all took up a collection of over $25,000. Thank you very much. So then we saw we had a beautiful pool of money, so we orchestrated a voting process. And the votes are in. The Jordan Award winners chose 12 nonprofits, and then starting in January of 2019, what the Community Foundation is going to do is highlight a different nonprofit each month. We're going to urge you all to visit, to volunteer, to learn, to donate, to participate. So tonight, for the lucky 12 nonprofits chosen by the Jordan Award winners, we have a check for $2,500. And what we'd like to do is have you come on down and receive your checks. And I think our controller, Bob and Beth, can you make sure the right folks get the right checks? Yeah. And also that nobody trips coming up on stage. All right? So if you don't mind, let's have a little celebration right here. Toni, would you say the names of the nonprofits and then come on up and get your checks and shake the hands of the folks who have made it possible. So, Toni, here's our list.
Another fun part of this evening. First of all, we have the Chester County Hospital, Chester County Food Bank, the Colonial Theater, Westchester University, Stroudwater Research Center, YMCA Greater Brandywine, Anson-Nixon Park, Kerr Memorial Park, La Comunidad Hispana, Wharton Esherick Museum, Community Volunteers in Medicine, and last but not least, the Kennett Symphony.
So we only have another minute of the program. You know they want their checks up there. So each month, Tony, don't turn the pages. So just while they're getting their checks straightened out for a second. So in January, the Chester County Hospital will be highlighted with Michael Duncan receiving his check right now and tours and things like that. In February, it'll be the food bank. Volunteer nights are big at the food bank. March is the Colonial Theater, movie night sponsor, coming up to Colonial Theater. April will be Westchester University is having a Holocaust forum for the 25th anniversary of Schindler's List. Bob, you got some checks left. Okay. Stroudwater Research Environmental Lecture in May. June will be the Y. Thank everybody. Go to the Y and the passes. The Nixon Park Summer Concert Series. Yay, Nixon Park. You can clap more. Come on. Downingtown Kerr Memorial Park Summer Concert. La Comunidad Hispana. Do you love that Let's Choose Health sponsorship run? And Wharton Escher Museum, our little gem up in Melbourne. October will be Museum Tour Month. November, Community Volunteers in Medicine. We'll go find out what's going on. And December, we'll wind it up with the Kennett Symphony, because who doesn't like a holiday concert, all right? So thank you very much. You guys stay right there, because we're about ready to take this home, okay? We've got one more minute, and then Tony, why don't you tell us the other ways we're going to help celebrate?
Okay. Thanks all for being here tonight. Wow, I'll tell you, when you see everybody that works for this organization, Karen and her staff, who, by the way, did gangbusters setting this up today, but everybody who does things in terms of volunteering, contributing, setting up funds, the door openers, the Jordan Award winners, it inspires me, it must inspire you. But anyway, I wanted to thank you all for being here and wanted to tell you a little bit about that 25th celebration a little bit more. We'll be featuring silver desserts at Whitford on March 25th at the Silver Sweet Charity. And sometime in the spring, late spring, we're delighted that Franny and Franny Abbott have agreed to host our silver celebration at Shady Grove with their fabulous party barn there. So we're looking forward to that. So keep your eyes open for future details on all of those, and please come. We're going to be celebrating and celebrating all of you and celebrating all of you, and hope that you'll be there all year long and at those two events. And thanks very much for spreading the word on our mission to grow legal legacy of philanthropy. Sorry about that. Appreciate it very much. It's very important to the community. It's very important to all of us and to me, and I'm glad to be here to help do it for the next 2 years. Thanks very much. So now you're done with the official program, and there are eats and libations upstairs and downstairs in this lovely Uptown Theater. Please enjoy one another. Thanks again.